Today we introduce you to one of nature's loners, the maned wolf. What makes its hunting technique so unique? Why does it shuffle around instead of sprinting? And most importantly, what's the deal with a clip of ants? Keep watching and you'll find out. And if you hang on until the end, you might catch a glimpse of some adorable pups. So let's get on with it. The maned wolf, also known as the golden dog or the skunk fox, is a unique canid found in eastern South America. It is the only member of its genus, Chrysocyon, standing apart from other canids. If you were to organize a family reunion for South American wild dogs, only a few distant cousins would show up. This long-legged predator, slightly taller than a grey wolf, roams the grasslands and open forests of Brazil, Paraguay, Peru and Argentina, navigating the Cerrado savannas and the Chaco region. Historically, its range stretched even further, reaching Uruguay, but habitat loss has forced it into smaller territories. Unlike true wolves, it isn't built for the icy north or dense jungles. It thrives in the vast open landscapes. For years, scientists struggled to figure out where the maned wolf belonged on the canid family tree. At first, it was mistaken for a wolf or fox, classified under Canis or Vulpes, but genetic studies later revealed it as an entirely distinct evolutionary branch with no close relatives outside South America. Its love life is best described as a lifelong, long-distance relationship. Monogamous pairs stake out a 30 square kilometers territory, yet they rarely cross paths outside of mating season. Instead, they move independently, following well-worn trails through the grasslands, leaving scent marks to signal their presence. Rather than constant companionship, their bond exists through overlapping territories and the occasional rendezvous when it's time to breed. They remain faithful to their chosen mate, but seem perfectly content spending most of their lives alone. To keep in touch, they rely on an unmistakable scent, their urine, which carries a distinct odour often compared to hops or cannabis. This strong fragrance doubles as both a territorial marker and a form of silent communication. While scent plays a major role in how they navigate their world, vocalizations also help them stay connected. They have 3 distinct calls: a deep-throated bark, often heard after dusk, a high-pitched whine used in communication, and a low growl, typically reserved for tense situations. One of the things that makes this animal so special, besides its appearance, is how it walks. Its legs are specially adapted for the tall grass it typically inhabits, and it doesn't rely on running. Or rather, it can run if necessary, but not in the way you'd expect from a wolf-like animal. Instead, it moves with a pass gait, the same style of walking used by giraffes and camels. As an omnivore, it shuffles through the grasslands from dusk to dawn, feasting on small mammals, birds, and fruit. One particular favourite is libera, a fruit so essential to its diet that it has earned the nickname wolf plant. In fact, this single fruit makes up over half of what the maned wolf eats. When hunting, it relies on a mix of stealth, patience, and quick reflexes. It will chase down prey, dig holes, or leap into the air. Any extra food gets buried for later. Even a top predator knows the value of a good snack stash. The oversized ears act as high-powered radars. They can rotate independently, tuning in to the faint rustle of hidden prey. It even taps the ground with a front paw to flush out creatures before pouncing. When the time comes to strike, it kills with a bite to the neck or back, shaking its prey violently if needed. However, only about 21% of its hunts are successful. Perhaps this is why it leans so heavily on fruit. The dentition reflects its diet. Since it does not hunt or consume large prey, its upper carnassials are reduced, its upper incisors are weak, and its canines are long and slender, better suited for grasping rather than tearing. And, as we all know, what goes in must come out. According to the research we reviewed, the maned wolf is said to participate in a symbiotic relationship, or at least that's how it's described. It turns out that maned wolves have a habit of defecating on the nests of leafcutter ants. But why? What does the wolf gain from this? Just look at this. After committing an act that would get a human banned from public spaces, it just casually walks away, completely unbothered. Like it never happened. Like it wasn't just standing on an ant nest doing that. The research paper we examined didn't provide a clear answer. What we do know is that the ants use the dung to fertilize their fungus gardens, but discard the seeds onto refuse piles just outside their nests. This significantly increases seed germination rates. Is this an intentional farming technique or just a lucky coincidence? The why remains unclear, and honestly, we're not sure if we want to dig any deeper. Although the maned wolf shares many fox-like characteristics, they are not closely related. Unlike true foxes, it lacks elliptical pupils, a key trait distinguishing them. Studies show that they have no close relatives among living canids. In fact, they're the only large South American canid that survived the late Pleistocene extinction, the event that wiped out much of the world's megafauna. They typically live 12 to 15 years in the wild, with some reaching up to 20 years in captivity. However, their survival in the wild is far from guaranteed. Habitat loss is one of their biggest threats, as human expansion brings deforestation, road construction and land conversion, all of which fragment their territory and increase the risk of roadkill. To make matters worse, they are particularly vulnerable to diseases due to their genetic similarity to domestic dogs. CDV, parvovirus and rabies, often transmitted by unvaccinated pets, pose a serious threat to wild populations. Because of these challenges, many never make it past their 10th birthday. Its status is near threatened, and it is estimated that just over 23,000 remain in the wild. According to World Animal Protection, only 3% of the maned wolf's natural habitat is protected. There are ongoing conservation efforts. For example, hunting is illegal, rewilding projects are in place, and organizations are actively studying populations. On that note, and in the name of non-existent segues, because we have no idea how to end this, we promised you some pups if you stuck around until the end, and we always keep our promises. So here they are,